Well, all right, welcome back. It is March 8th. It's 37 degrees outside. Today I'm going to be going over some of my favorite camping recipes that can all be made in one pan. I always seem to go back to these recipes, probably because they only have a couple of ingredients and they're very simple to make. But stick around to the end. I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the kitchen in my Subaru car camper, all the different items I use and how I organize it. First up are dumplings, or wontons. I've used them so many times when I'm out camping. It's easy to throw a bag of frozen wontons just in the cooler and break them out whenever you need. Normally I just throw them right into the pan with a little bit of olive oil and I'll saute them until they're crispy. If you add a little bit of water into the pan at the end and cover, it'll steam them up and it gives a really great texture to them at the end. I usually either serve it with a chili sauce or a soy sauce, but honestly there are so many different sauces that would work for this. Ramen is also a great pairing with wontons or dumplings. I have made ramen so many times while out on the road. I don't think I've ever made it the same way any one given time. It's really fun to experiment with different toppings and protein options. For protein in the past, I've used everything from fried chicken to steak to poached eggs. A lot of these things can be pre-made, but I do end up cooking them out on the road just because I enjoy the whole cooking process. The toppings make all the difference in terms of texture and flavor. I like fresh vegetables like mushrooms, peppers, pea pods, onions, green onions. With the ramen, I love a good chili sauce, sriracha or something like that. Another great option is dirty rice. It's easy and packed with flavor. It's only a few ingredients. Usually I use some sort of sausage, pepper, onion, celery mix, some sort of a stock, and then the rice with the seasoning packet mix. Again, all this protein can probably be pre-made and packed up in a cooler to make this recipe even faster on the road. Another favorite of mine has always been tacos. It's especially good in the summer. I can cook them in a variety of different ways. One of my favorites is to use chicken and some sort of a pico de gallo mix, peppers, tomatoes, onions. I like these tortillas best when they're heated up, and the one-burner stove works great for that. Usually I just take the tongs and hold the tortillas over the flame for a few seconds. I highly recommend using a cast iron pan whenever possible. It's really easy to clean and it cooks a wide variety of dishes really well. The one I use is about 6 or 7 inches across, and that's really the perfect size for the one-person meals that I'm making while out on the road. I'm really not interested ever in having leftovers. Another really easy way to make tacos while out on the road is with walking tacos. I've been making these for years, ever since I was a kid. You just take a bag of Fritos and then you're mixing in ground beef and all of your taco toppings on top of that. It's very easy cleanup, and again, it all comes together in one pan. This recipe is something I tried first a couple years ago, and it's worked out really great. It's a campfire pizza recipe using my cast iron pan and regular pizza dough. Basically, we're using a cast iron pan with some tin foil on top to create an oven where we'll bake the pizza inside. Placement around the fire is really important with this, not to get it too close to burn the crust, but also not too far away so that we're able to still cook the dough and not just the toppings and sauces on top. Obviously, you could customize the entire recipe here. You could change the toppings, the sauce, or the cheese. But normally on my pizza, I like red sauce, mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, green peppers, and olives. You can see in the video here I covered it with 2 layers of tin foil. I did this to protect the crust and make sure the toppings wouldn't burn. I would say it worked pretty well. So I'm throwing this in as a bonus. It's not a recipe, but it's a great dessert to have sitting around the campfire at night. You just throw the cinnamon rolls, store-bought from the can, right into the pan, put it right into the fire. Similarly with the pizza, I would recommend just putting some tin foil over the top. I'm not too particular about placement on this. I don't mind if they get a little burned on the bottom. When you cover them with the glaze, everything ends up being really tasty. Alright, so today I'm doing a breakdown of the kitchen in my Subaru car camper. There's really only a few items that make up the kitchen currently. It's taken me a couple years to get it to this setup. I really like how each item that I have ends up serving multiple purposes. There is really no single-use item here. So first up with the stove, I've been using a 1-burner stove ever since I got into car camping. It takes up a lot less space than a regular Coleman 2-burner stove. The width of it is perfectly sized to fit right into the drawer. My previous 1-burner stove was just butane, and as you can see here, this stove is butane and it also accepts propane. So in the winter when it gets really cold, butane doesn't work quite as well, and so I end up using a lot of propane. I've heard that the heat control on a Coleman 2-burner stove can be a lot better. But really my experience with this stove has been great, and I've been able to cook everything I want. Next up, I'm going to go through my pots and pans. The main pan that I use for pretty much everything, as I said before, is my cast iron skillet. It's served me well over the past 4 or 5 years, and I'm sure it's going to last for years to come. Beyond just the cast iron pan, I also use this Sea to Summit 3-part kit. It includes this pan, which is great for sauteing, and it can also act as a plate. It also includes this large pot for boiling water or just using for prep. And then this is definitely the most used item in the kit. It's a small kettle. I end up using this for coffee, ramen. This is definitely the most valuable piece of the kit. They all have metal bottoms to them so they can be placed safely on the stove that I have. But it does say that you're supposed to be careful with not getting too much flame around the outside where the plastic is. Last part of the pots and pans set that I have is my plate. I believe this is a titanium plate. It's super lightweight, very thin, but it ends up working out really well for meals where I don't want to just eat it out of the pan. For utensils, I like to carry this knife roll around. It keeps everything pretty organized. In it, I have a variety of different knives, a spatula, and a pair of tongs. It's not in here right now, but normally I also have a titanium spork that goes with the plate. It's pretty much the only utensil I ever use for eating. I also have a salt and pepper grinder right in the drawer. It's really nice to have quick and easy access to salt and pepper and not have to dig through the extra boxes where the seasonings are. The last thing I keep in my drawer is the coffee setup. I use an AeroPress while out on the road. I find that brewer to be really consistent and it makes the perfect amount of coffee for me in the morning. To make my coffee, I always use fresh ground coffee. So I have this coffee grinder in the box that allows me to grind fresh in the mornings. And then I also have this stainless steel mug. So the other part to the kitchen is in these plastic boxes. I have 2 of them, and they store some accessories that go with the kitchen but just don't fit in the drawer. The first box has the most organization to it right now. It's got fuel, olive oil, and seasonings, along with plastic bags and tin foil along the bottom. The second box is a little bit more unorganized. It's got all the miscellaneous stuff that I use. The biggest thing that gets used in here is the Scrub Daddy for cleaning. I also have some accessories for the jet boil, some extra utensils, and the propane adapter for the stove. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope that you were able to gain something for your next camping trip. I'm going to be doing some more renovation videos in the future, and I'm thinking I'd like to reorganize part of the kitchen area. So let me know if you have any ideas on how I should do that. Hopefully next time you see me, I don't have to wear a beanie.